Hi there, my name's Helen. I'm a nutritional therapist and I'm also a breathwork practitioner. And I'm making this video just to give you a quick idea of how I approach the whole process of nutritional therapy and what would happen if you decided to work with me. So the first thing I do is to get a health questionnaire. And when I look at this, I can usually identify which areas of the body are struggling, which areas need support. Perhaps people are eating quite well, but they may not be digesting their food, or they may not be absorbing their food, or perhaps they do all of that quite well, but the transportation of the nutrients to where they need to get to in the body, there's some issue going on there that we can actually delve into and support. So that's kind of what I'm looking for in the health questionnaire. And the questionnaire is structured into two parts. The first bit is looking at the systems in the body, and the second bit does a body scan. And they can seem a little bit repetitive, but actually, I often pick up things from the body scan that people forget about on the other part of the questionnaire. So they do really work together. So it's very comprehensive, is what I'm saying, because that way, when I see people, the appointment is very much focused on them rather than me having to collate and collect a lot of information. So the second thing people fill in is, unsurprisingly, a questionnaire about what they're eating. From this, I can see whether they're eating perhaps too much of something, whether they're not eating enough of something, or, perhaps the problem lies in how they're eating or how often they're eating or when they're eating, or how much they're eating, all of these kind of things. So that's what that will dig into. And then the third thing is a schedule, because there's no point me designing a really comprehensive protocol if you can't keep to it. Everybody's got restrictions in their life, and whatever I work out has to work around people's schedule. So that's the main way we get started. The only things I don't cover are the three things for which you need extra training, which I don't have currently. So eating disorders, cancer, and kidney. Those things I wouldn't be insured or eligible to cover. So yeah, really. So nutritional therapy, it's a personalized approach. We are very unique as individuals, and we're really looking to, sometimes, people have got off track. Perhaps they've been really busy in their life, or maybe often people come to me when a life stage changes. So, maybe their children are just perhaps getting a bit easier. Maybe they're off to school, maybe they're off to uni, maybe they're off to work, or whatever. There's some change in people's diary that means they've got a bit more time to focus on themselves. Maybe they've got a bit off track. They need a second pair of eyes. Often, especially weight loss, people will say to me, well, I've tried everything, nothing's working. And then they're surprised as soon as we get to work that the changes can happen quite quickly. So the other thing to talk about is supplements. So I do find it difficult to practice without these. There's lots of reasons for that, which is a whole other video. But we do look at these because very often people are taking them. They're very often taking the wrong ones for the wrong reasons, and too much or too little, or they conflict with their medication. All of these kind of things need to be taken into account. But I find that supplements can help move people on quicker. And also, although we are looking for the root cause, they can very often help people feel better quite quickly. That can then, if they feel better, they've got more energy, so they've got more motivation to follow the in-depth, perhaps slightly longer, harder protocols to really make a difference long term. So that's that. The other thing I dig into is lifestyle. Now, the key thing that I teach here is the breath work. And I teach that because there's no point in eating fantastic food if you're not oxygenating your tissues correctly. You may not absorb that food, you may not create the nutrients, you may not have the energy to transport it around the body. There's all sorts of things that breathwork can help with. The other thing is it really gets into the vagus nerve and the fight and flight system. We're not going to just digest our food if we're stressed. And of course, when you're working with the vagus nerve, that works with every single organ in the body. So it's your autonomic nervous system that controls all of the functioning of the body. So when you start to oxygenate the body correctly, all sorts of things can improve and change. And, the other key thing is it helps to reset the stress system. So people have got, I always think of it as a tube. So then people have got a lot more capacity to work on things if their nervous system isn't being triggered the whole time. Or, on the other hand, if it is triggered, they know how to bring it down. So that's what I use that for. But there's also lots of other things. There's all sorts of tech that you can use these days to do with health. And, some of that is really effective, especially for pain, all kinds of things. So really, to summarize, what I am about is helping people to feel better initially, and then to try and dig into the root causes of whatever the health problem is, and really to empower you to take charge of your own health. Okay, I hope that helps.